So let's talk about the Biden crime family. Dun, dun, dun. It's been ongoing for a long period of time. And Jim Jordan is here out in the lobby of the Capitol. And let's listen to what he has to say. It's shocking how long it took. House Republicans have 221 seats and the Democrats have 213. So the GOP took control of the House with the majority in 2022 midterm elections. We had to wait until the midterm elections to start to see justice about the Biden family. That's how corrupt the Democrats are. They will protect their own at all costs. Adam Schiff is a great example. Let's listen to what Jim has to say and talking to reporters just about facts. Listen to this.
So I said this earlier this morning, but I think you can tell this story in three parts, three chapters. There's before Joe Biden's candidate for president, there's the time when he is candidate for president, and then there's, of course, the things that have happened, the events that have happened while he's been president. And I think today we're largely going to focus on that pre-candidate time. I call that the money, the business, the brand. That'll be the focus, I think, of today's questioning, specifically relative to James Biden's involvement with CEFC, AmeriCorps. There was a big story about that. So we're going to look at all that information, I think, today. I think it's interesting, some of the facts we've already picked up from Mr. Walker, Mr. Bobulinski, specifically regarding the Chinese energy company CEFC. It's like that deal doesn't get finalized until Joe Biden shows up at the Four Seasons, get a drop by and gives a short presentation to all the people there, the 8 people from Chinese executives with CEFC and Hunter Biden and his business partners. So I think we'll dig into those kind of things in today's thing. But we'll also look, some of the other information I think is important too. While Biden's candidate, the lies, the campaign, the rigged election, that's the 51 former intel officials and how that played. And then, of course, there's the while he's been president, I think that is the obstruction, the cover-up, and, of course, the sweetheart deal.
Chairman Jordan,
what do you make of this Smirnoff indictment?
Well, I mean, it is what it is, so it doesn't change the fundamental facts. There are 4 fundamental facts that Hunter Biden gets put on the board of Burisma. He's not qualified to be on the board. He gets put on that board and gets paid $1 million a year. Second, as I said, he's not qualified to be on the board. He said so himself. Third, in Dubai on December 4th, 2015, the executives at Burisma, Mr. Zolochevsky, Mr. Pizarski, specifically asked Hunter Biden, can you weigh in with D.C. and help us with the pressure we are facing from the prosecutor general in Ukraine? Hunter Biden makes a call. Devin Archer told us he made a call to his dad, to Joe Biden. And then 3 days later, Joe Biden goes to Ukraine and conditions the release of American tax money on the firing of the prosecutor, applying the pressure to the company that Hunter Biden sat on the board of. Those facts, they don't change regardless of what this confidential human source has said.
You said that this informant now charged with some of the most corroborating evidence. You said that in an interview last month.
It did corroborate what I just said there, but it doesn't change the facts.
But those allegations from the FD 1023 are now found to all be lies. So how does that impact the investigation?
I think you should ask the FBI why they were so reluctant. They told us if we don't, when we wanted to see the 1023, said this could jeopardize national security, the safety of this confidential human source. You can't know his name. They didn't want to show it to us. Then they finally did. I mean, this is a guy they paid, I think, since 2010. So 14 years they've been paying this guy. And he's a trusted source, and now we find out. Plus, I think there's sort of when Christopher Steele lied to the FBI about President Trump, he gets paid more. When Smirnoff lies to the FBI about President Biden, he gets indicted. I mean, go figure. So it doesn't change the fundamental facts.
It doesn't change the facts. It does change the facts. Those are no longer facts. Those are not true.
The 4 things I just said, they're absolutely true.
But
Did Hunter Biden get put on the board of Burisma? Yes. Was he paid $1 million a year? Yes. Did Joe Biden condition the release of tax money for the firing of the prosecutor who was applying the pressure? Yes. All 4 of those things are facts, absolutely, regardless of what the confidential human source may or may not have said.
What do you make of Smirnoff's connections to Russians, high-level Russian intelligence?
We'll find out. That's obviously.
David Weiss, the special counsel, said he may be trying to influence this year's presidential election.
I will tell you this: when Scott Brady, U.S. attorney in Pittsburgh, when we talked to him, he had actually checked out the confidential human source where he traveled to, when he traveled to, and said that he felt he had the indicia of credibility. David Weiss thinks otherwise, and they've indicted him. We'll have to see.
Do you expect Jim Biden to be candid today? I mean, do you think you're going to
We'll see. I mean, Rob Walker, when we asked him who the email that he's copied on 10% for the big guy, we asked him who's the big guy. He says, I don't know. So he wasn't too candid. I mean, I think everyone knows who the big guy is, so we'll see what Jim Biden's like.
Do you think the FBI acted corruptly, or DOJ acted corruptly in bringing charges against Smirnoff? Do you think they did that?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I'm just saying it doesn't change the underlying facts. And the FBI, I mean, Chris Wray didn't want to let us have the form because he said this guy was such a valued source. Someone needs to ask the FBI, really? This is your valued source? If he's now some spy? I mean, holy cow. So it doesn't change our facts.
Do you think Ray was dishonest in the way he
I have no idea. But, go figure. He told us one thing and now it's something else. I got to go up to that.
Thank you.
Okay, the Democrats did nothing. He didn't even talk about that. He's just simply talking about the facts of what they're going to be asking the Bidens about. So it's unbelievable, isn't it? Swamp creatures are still around, and we need to deal with it. Now, most of you have seen this interview. It's been around for 5 years. But notice how much President Biden has declined in 5 years. It's quite amazing because he seems kind of astute. This is January 23rd, 2018. Listen how proud he is of doing something illegal. I mean, clueless, right? Oh, by the way, it's pronounced Kiev. It's not pronounced Kev. All the newscasters were doing that when they first started having news about the war. It's Kev. It's Kev. No, it's Kiev. Kiev. If you know anything about history, you know it's Kiev, not Kev.
Overwhelming opposition on the part of the body politic in Russia for engagement in Ukraine in a military sense. I think the Donbass has potential to be able to be solved, but it takes two things. One of those things is missing now, and that is I'm desperately concerned about the backsliding on the part of Kyiv in terms of corruption. They made, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people. But in one of the three institutions, there's now some backsliding. The courts are there, and yes, and they had.
Okay, so let's talk about Hunter, the son of Joe Biden, and how ridiculously long it's been going on to see justice. In May of last year, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, reported that Hunter Biden is estimated to have a net worth of $230 million. $230 million, okay? We're going to talk about his education in a moment. So Hunter makes more than $20 million a year. You know where I'm going with this. His education, okay? Again, I got notes. He has a BA from Georgetown University and a law degree from Yale. But he doesn't practice law. Hasn't practiced law. At least not lately. Do we see it? Do we see it? Come on now. Come on. Even Democrats can see this, right? It's like deny, deny, deny. Was it plausible deniability? Isn't that what Joe Biden said in that hidden recording? Okay, so now let's go to a clip that is, let's kill the messenger. So a whistleblower made a statement. They found something that he lied about, and now they're dismissing him completely. It's just classic dismissal of a whistleblower. And let's listen to what they have to say in this very biased media report.
Bombshell allegation specifically against Joe Biden has long been that a credible FBI source relayed that Joe and Hunter Biden each got paid $5 million as part of a bribe by Ukrainian energy firm Burisma for months. Some Republicans in Congress held this up as the major claim against the president. And now it turns out it was apparently all a lie, and not just a lie, but a criminal lie. With special counsel David Weiss, a Republican, the same guy prosecuting Hunter Biden, determining that the informant intentionally exaggerated the nature of his, quote, unextraordinary contact with Burisma executives in order to smear President Biden.
If you want to share, like, and subscribe, that always supports us. And if you want to support us financially too, you can go to realmustangmedic.com. Back to the video.
Weiss charged the informant, 43-year-old Alexander Smirnoff, with 2 counts of making a false statement and creating a fictitious record by claiming that Hunter Biden, who sat on the board of Burisma at the time, would protect the company, quote, through his dad from all kinds of problems. Weiss also said the informant didn't even have contact with Burisma executives until much later in 2017, which was after Joe Biden was out of office. Now remember, it was this allegation that seemingly set this impeachment inquiry in motion.
I took notes. Seemingly set the impeachment inquiry in motion. Are you kidding me? That's called spin.
All these hearings, all this hemming and hawing about corruption, all centered on the idea that Joe Biden collected $5 million from Burisma based on this now indicted informant's false claim.
There was a $5 million payment made to Joe Biden, not Hunter Biden, Joe Biden.
We now know through the FD 1023 form that we read today that Joe Biden was paid $5 million.
It was made up, according to special counsel Weiss.
It was made up according to the special counsel Weiss. Did you notice the use of the word according, right? According. This is how they spin you. They use the word according, so they say it real quick and it's like fact, but according to him. So they're just, all they're doing is going to that person, right? And saying it's according to him. They don't make it really obvious. They do it really quick. And that's how they spin us. Spin you and me.
Of course, the man hyping this the most has been House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. This is what he said back in July about the now indicted informant.
The confidential human source who provided information about then Vice President Biden being involved in a criminal bribery scheme is a trusted, highly credible informant who has been used by the FBI for over 10 years and has been paid over 6 figures.
Today, Chairman Comer responded to the indictment saying, quote, to be clear, the impeachment inquiry is not reliant on the FBI's FD 1023. It's based on a large record of evidence, including bank records and witness testimony, revealing that Joe Biden knew of and participated in his family's business dealings. Geraldo Rivera, this is an enormous blow, it seems to me, to the Republicans' effort to impeach.
Really listen to the words that they say when they do these kind of stories, because the manipulation is there. You just have to look at every word and break it down. I know it's a lot of work, but if you're watching this kind of media, you're going to need to, or you're going to be deceived, because that's what they want to do. They have an agenda. Okay, so the crap just keeps rolling down the hill, and we've been watching it for years. So actually, this next media clip is actually one that is factual, and it's from Dan Henninger from the Wall Street Journal. Let's listen to him.
Welcome to the Journal Editorial Report. I'm Paul Gigot. Hunter Biden was indicted in Los Angeles Thursday on 9 new federal charges, with the Justice Department accusing the first son of willfully failing to file and pay his taxes on time. Hunter's latest legal woes come as Republicans get set to move forward with a vote to formalize their impeachment inquiry into his father, President Joe Biden, next week, with House Speaker Mike Johnson calling the move a necessary step. Let's bring in our panel, Wall Street Journal columnist Dan Henninger and editorial board members Kyle Peterson and Kate Batchelder Odell. So Dan, Abby Lowell, Hunter's attorney, says that, of course, the charges are wrong and Hunter is innocent, and they would never have been brought if his name weren't Biden?
Well, you've got to put up a defense of some sort, don't you? And that's Abby Lowell's defense for Hunter Biden, who evaded taxes for 4 years. Isn't it kind of an irony that the Biden administration is asking for a lot more money for the Internal Revenue Service to chase people who are evading their taxes? And who gets caught in the net that exists? Hunter Biden. I would urge people, read the text of the indictment. It is a stunning document. I mean, it is really an incredible bill of particulars, and it does go into the details of how Hunter was making his money in the deals with Burisma in Ukraine, the Romanians and the Chinese companies that were paying money to him or to his counterparts, all of which he was putting in the bank and then simply declining to pay his taxes. And politically, I would say, polls have been running between 60 and 70% that most people do not want either Biden or Trump to run for president. This ought to push that number above 70%. I think it's a big political problem for Joe Biden.
Kate, just on the merits here, this, of course, was not the original part of the plea bargain that was struck at first between the Justice Department and Hunter Biden, and in fact has only occurred after 2 IRS whistleblowers brought a lot of information to the fore. Do you think that the whistleblowers were decisive here in turning and making and putting the pressure on the administration and the Justice Department to do something?
I think they absolutely were. I mean, look, that plea deal fell apart in a courtroom, and now we're back with this 50-page indictment, 3 felonies, 6 misdemeanors, and as Dan said, just an exceptional bill of particulars, spending money on hotels, girlfriends, cars, things like this. So it looks like even though it was supposed to just go away with that plea deal, obviously the particulars are much more damning than we were originally led to believe, and the whistleblowers, I think, were a huge element of that.
That changed the politics of it, Kyle. But let's talk about the political implications of this for Joe Biden's reelection campaign. Dan said he thinks it's a problem. Is it, or will...
So we will continue to report the bias of the mainstream media, break it down for you, and then serve it up live. Well, not live, but, you know, within the day. Within 24 hours, you're going to hear a breakdown. If something is totally ludicrous, then I feel motivated that we have to report it. And we'll report it to you. So please, I hope you subscribe to our channel, see value in it. And this is William Wieting reporting for MustangMedic. Thank you for watching.